Hi everyone, welcome to episode 1 of Heartful Insights podcast, where I focus on unfiltered connections, navigating relationships, and life's beautiful mess. My name is Mariana, and for this episode, I'm going to focus on a topic that I personally believe is not often talked about, and that is letting go of what never was and embracing love's potential. This topic is something that I hold very close and personal since trying to get back into the dating scene after almost a year. Now, I know that finding a love that is genuine in modern dating isn't easy, and we all have felt this way. And I know that this is something that so many people resonate with. I have definitely felt this way before, and even recently. I have created this podcast to dedicate my time to engaging in authentic conversations that surround love, relationships, mental health, and all of the challenges that are in between that we face every day. And as I've mentioned, I believe that there is not enough content out there that covers this topic, that it's not often talked about. And I know what it's like to be stuck in a situation with a thought pattern where you feel like no one understands how you feel, or that no one has ever felt or experienced the same things that you have. I know how it feels to be stuck and searching for answers as to why you feel a certain way, or that your experience is somewhat foreign compared to what others go through. And I know that it can feel like it completely wrecks your soul, and it can feel confusing and disheartening. And I'm recording this episode in the hopes that if you are feeling like you are almost loved but not chosen, that by the end of this episode, you can find a sense of relief, closure, and hope that there is something out there for you. And I just want you to know that you are not the only person who feels this way, and you deserve to be loved and chosen by someone. As human beings, we crave connection. And in modern dating, it's such a finicky thing because the way that we communicate has changed over time. With a huge rise in dating apps and the struggle that comes with miscommunication or a lack of communication, and when we experience rejection, whether it's romantic or social, the feeling is like a real physical pain that just sits in your chest and it never seems to go away that easily. The hurt that you feel when you're trying to move on from someone that you were never official with or that you've never dated can actually feel a lot worse than moving on from an actual established romantic relationship, because you're focusing on the what ifs and maybe even envisioned a future with this person. You'll probably be telling yourself, what if they just got to know me better? Or, what if I just tried harder to prove to them that I am worthy of their love? You could have been under the impression that things were going fine, and then suddenly you were blindsided when they didn't feel the same way. And that can be a hard pill to swallow. It can take a major blow on your self-esteem and really bring you down. You can be left with that sinking feeling of telling yourself, well, why wasn't I good enough? And that hurts. It hurts because the connection you had was real. But the unfortunate reality is that sometimes it's just not supposed to last. And you may have broken certain boundaries with this person that you usually wouldn't have done with anyone else. But because you felt safe and you trusted them, and you trusted that things were going to work out, you've dived in with your heart and opened up all of your vulnerabilities because you felt seen. And when we're in an environment that feels safe, we open up. And we open up about things that we usually wouldn't open up with most people. And the truth is that it's not your fault. And I don't want you to beat yourself up over this because someone couldn't love you all the way that you deserved. The truth is that they just weren't ready to take you on, and this can be for many personal reasons. But just know that this is not a reflection of you. Some people just struggle with communicating their intentions, and it's incredibly disappointing and confusing when Someone's actions don't align with what we believe their intentions to be. So just remember, it's not always a reflection of you, as I said. Some people are just not ready. And it's natural to have expectations and hopes when we form connections with others, and especially if there was a form of intimacy involved. It is valid to feel hurt because you felt a connection and you believe that this person was generally interested in getting to know you. If there's any advice that I can give for anyone that's feeling this way, is that you need to start by forgiving yourself. I need you to forgive yourself for diving in too deep when you shouldn't have. To forgive yourself for being open and forgiving all of the parts of you to someone who didn't deserve it. To forgive yourself for being open with how you feel, and to forgive yourself for thinking that things could have been different. And to even forgive yourself for breaking your own boundaries for someone. The truth is that you could break your back for someone and they still won't see you. You see, a lot of advice channels these days will always talk about setting boundaries and trusting your instincts. But sometimes you can find yourself in a certain scenario where you think, hang on, well, where can I let my walls down? When can I trust this person? And it's sometimes really hard to stay firm with your boundaries until you start to trust someone enough. And like I mentioned before, sometimes people can just blindside you, and it can leave you feeling really hurt and beaten down. And it can be really disappointing. The truth is that you can give all of yourself and continuously pour your heart into a person, and they will just continue to pull away. And I don't want you to bring yourself down because of this. You could have not been more kind. You could have not been more beautiful, more funny, more outgoing, more loving, more caring. They may have just not been completely honest with you, and they didn't want to communicate clearly. That they are simply just not ready for you. I know how it feels to want to show someone that you are worthy, and you want to work so hard that your body goes into overdrive just so that you can feel seen, loved, valued, and chosen. But the thing is that when we get into that mode where we're fighting to be seen, where we're fighting to show others that we're worthy of their love and attention, we lose our self-respect. And sometimes it can't be helped because we need to look at, how were we raised? What was our childhood like? Is there a pattern in our past relationships where, there was constant push and pull and you felt like you were always fighting to be validated and seen by someone that you love? And I believe that when you come from a chaotic childhood, you have this belief that sits right in your core that tells you that you are undeserving and unworthy of love, and that love is just too painful to navigate around. What we tend to forget is that it takes intention and healing to undo all of these things. And just because you had a bad childhood, it doesn't mean that you're immediately written off. But if you haven't started the healing process or acknowledged the impacts of your trauma, you will continue to fall into relationships with people that necessarily do not have your best interest at heart. If you stay in an environment where someone does not recognize the value of you, you will shrink to the size that they can stand. That precious gift that you are, you will shrink that for someone who is undeserving of the beautiful person that you are. And that is just going to send you down a rabbit hole of anxiety, stress, and depression. I know that this can take a blow on your self-esteem and your self-worth. And I know that you're going to continuously question every single thing that you ever did and overanalyze everything you've ever said. And I've done this myself. I have told myself, maybe I shouldn't have talked so much. Maybe I shouldn't have been so open about my trauma. Maybe if I dressed better, maybe if I looked more beautiful, maybe if I wasn't too annoying. The truth is that if that connection was real, they wouldn't have let you go that easy. And when you run away from relationships like I did for a whole year, what you are doing is you're closing yourself off to people who would have loved to have you around. What you are doing when you stay in these relationships where you are shrinking yourself to a size that they can handle, you are closing yourself off from those who would give you the world and who would stop at nothing to be within your presence. If someone makes you feel like you are too much, let them go. Let them go and find less. I need you to go where you are wanted. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to be with someone who chooses you. And you deserve to be chosen. And if you have listened all the way till the end, I just want to thank you for being here with me. And I hope that this has helped you navigate any distressing emotions that you may have felt. And I know it's not easy. And please don't blame yourself. There is someone out there for you. And they are waiting to choose you. If you have found any clarity from this episode, feel free to subscribe to this channel or like and comment down below so I know that you're interested in this content. Until then, thank you so much for listening to Heartful Insights Episode 1, and take care.